I actually named him as captain for the Sydney Test match last summer. You know, when Rowett didn't play that game and there was a bit of an injury cloud over Bumrah, or as that game went on, Bumrah actually broke down in that game. And look, I don't know Shubman that well. I've spoken to him 6, 8, 10 times maybe the last couple of years around different things and around batting and around leadership. He's done a great job with GT, no doubt about that. But he just seems the sort of guy that the extra responsibility wouldn't faze too much. You know, it seems like he's got a really level head on his shoulders. He's someone that's going to be around, you know, Indian cricket for another 10 years. His white ball form has been incredibly good. He's got a little bit of work to do, yes, on his Test match batting, and that's never easy when you're a new captain. To have to worry about your batting to the degree that he's going to have to won't be easy for him. But I think he's got enough senior players around him with KL and Bumrah and these sort of guys to help him, and even someone like Rishabh, who's played a fair bit of Test cricket now as well, to sort of, you know, help him through the initial stages of his captaincy. So I think it's a good call. Really, probably the only call I think India could have made. You know, with Bumrah, you know, obviously everyone was thinking that Bumrah was going to be the captain, but to be honest, I'm not sure they can risk trying to get him through 5 Test matches in a row in England coming up. So they might need to maybe play him in 3 of those 5 and manage him through. And what you don't want with captaincy is not having that continuity. So with Shubman being there, they'll get that continuity, and I think it's the right call.
And were you referring to his defence when you're talking about his red ball technique, work to do, or something else?
Oh, look, it's a bit of both. You know, there's some of the great Test players that haven't had great defensive games. You know, you look at Sehwag or something like that's probably a great example of that. But I think if you're in control of your stroke play, you don't have to worry too much about your defence. I mean, obviously it's a big part of Test match cricket, but I think it's more his mental application. I think everything's there to me. Well, I mean, when I see him play a forward defence or backward defence, there's nothing there that's technically wrong. I think sometimes he might just get a little bit either ahead of himself or a little bit lazy in the middle of a Test match innings, and you can't afford to do that. You've got to be 100% committed to every ball that you face through 6 or 7 hours of every day if you want to be a successful test match batsman. That's what the great players have always done, and I think that's the challenge for Shubman. But everything's there, and I'm sure we'll see him turn into a terrific Test match player.
He wants to bat at 3. That's why from opening he moved to number 3. Now there are talks that maybe he could replace Kohli as the number 4. I mean, your thoughts on that?
Once again, I got asked that yesterday as well, and I actually had him at number 4 in that current side. And the reason I did that was to try and, if they go with Jaiswal and if Sudarshan's the other opener, I think they need someone a bit more experienced at number 3. So that could be a KL at 3, or that could be a Karan Nair at 3, and Shubman at 4, and one of those other guys at 5, and Pant at 6. They might think about going that way. And I think as well, I know how hard it is batting in the top 3 and being a captain, and when you're not in complete control of your game, that can be difficult. So I'd like to see him start at number 4. Go in and start as captain at number 4, get used to that role, and then once you grow into it, then you can move yourself back up to that number 3 spot.
So KL and Jaiswal not opening for you?